Okay, are we going?
Hello, hello.
Hello. Oh, let me get my phone going. Let everybody get on here that can join tonight. Long time no see, everyone. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Sheila. Good to see your faces.
Hello, ladies. Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Has been. Well, I was on vacation last week in Utah. Hello, Heidi. Hello, Trinia.
Hello.
Gonna give everybody just a few minutes. How is everyone doing? You can go ahead and type that in if you want to. Like, how has it been for you? I was happy to see the smoke was pretty much gone when I got back.
Well, it's rained a bunch while you were gone, almost every day.
We didn't have that in Utah.
Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
Tracy, did you hear the big boom in Maryland?
So, roller coaster with family issues. Challenging last week, good today. What's challenging? Like what is challenging? Like, does it feel energetically challenging? Oh, and Tracy said no. What happened? What happened where she's at?
So there was a plane, a smaller, like Cessna type plane that took off from Florida, and the flight plan was to go to New York or Maine or something like that. And it veered off its flight trajectory and went towards the White House. And so the F-15s, all the fighter jets took flight to get it away from the White House, and it ended up crashing. Nobody survived. And so
Oh, that's
they
heartbreaking.
they were allowed to fly at supersonic speed. So there was a supersonic boom on top of the boom of the crash when it crashed in Virginia. So um, I know a lot of my friends back east in Virginia actually heard the boom, and so it was heard in parts of Virginia and different places. So I was just wondering if she heard it.
That's heartbreaking. Prayers to everybody and their families who were involved with that.
Yeah,
Everyone.
absolutely.
Wow. So Heidi says challenging, meaning not sure I wanted to be on the planet. Oh, Heidi,
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
some intense energy. Depression. Seems like the last week has been tough for me with relationships. There's a lot of relationship stuff coming up.
There is.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Well, Heidi, we need you. You're such a beautiful soul. I'm sorry that you're going through that. Um, that's difficult. Whether we need you or not, though, you deserve to have a life that, while it can be challenging, still brings you joy. And you can have that.
Mhm.
Yeah, prayers to everyone. That's a big thing. That's a lot of
It
energy.
is.
I've been really cut off from news, obviously. I posted pictures, but I have not been checked in for 12 days now or so. Oh, that's so sweet.
Mm.
So things can get really intense when we're in our stuff. They can get so intense. That's why we were curious how everybody was doing, because we've perceived it as intense. If you can hear, my throat is scratchy. I'm not sick, though. It's really interesting. This is an old brewing that's been busting loose. I've had a crystal grid up for at least a month now that's been working on my throat chakra. And I've been doing a lot of digging and healing on things around speaking truth, and just so happens I spoke my truth, and then boom, this flared up. And I actually see it as a good thing, if you can't hear that I'm kind of froggy, because it's getting some of the gunk out of there. It's getting it out. And I supported myself through the biofeedback session today, which was really powerful. Um, but I've been disconnected from stuff like what happened with the plane. So I send prayers out every night to whomever would need it when I know I'm not connected into the news. Oh, I'm happy you could find joy, Heidi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and thank you, Trinia. So, yeah, we all need to unplug sometimes, and I really needed it. My husband had been deployed for 5 weeks prior, and it's been an intense year. And energetically, it's been intense for me. And I believe me pulling Monique into my, because she's, always there for me and supporting me. But it was intense, his deployment to Texas and the border. And so there was a lot of emotional support going on. So when I disconnected last week, I disconnected in a way I haven't disconnected, I don't think, ever. Like, I really plugged into family, into meditation, into just being present. Like, I didn't let myself go off. I was here, like, really present. And it was really important. Energetically, there's a lot of intense energies if you're experiencing that. And I don't want to create that for you, because not everybody is. Um, but I know I'm clearing deep stuff out of me, out of my body, out of the processing. We've been doing some serious digs. Uh, and then seeing in clients that there's some really big stuff being cleared out of the field.
Absolutely. And I would agree. I know for myself, Memorial Weekend was a huge healing weekend for myself. It brought up, with all the energetic shifting going on, I really unplugged that weekend myself, and really kind of have this past week or so too, in a lot of ways. It's been kind of a lot of the lines of all things hidden shall be revealed. So a lot of things have been coming up for me about things like way back in the past. Some of it I even forgot about, from childhood and stuff. And so it's just been bringing things to the surface that I've forgotten about in my marriage, like all through my life, so that they can be brought up to be healed and cleared and released, and all that we need to do. And it's been interesting because that's kind of been a running uh, undercurrent with a lot of people right now. And so a friend of mine came over, and her and I we decided to remodel my kitchen on Memorial Weekend because, hey, why not? And so we spent 4 days. I took Friday off, and of course I had Monday off. So we spent 4 days remodeling my kitchen, and we did a lot of healing too. And we're almost done. We're almost done. When I'm totally done, I'll post pictures. We're almost done. I got the last of the stuff I ordered today, so we'll be putting that in tomorrow. But it was a really intense healing weekend as well. And like Sara said, her and I were doing some intensive healing yesterday of stuff that got kicked up again for me this past weekend too. So that's what it's been like for me the past, I don't know, probably almost 2 weeks really. But along the lines of that, what I've noticed too is a whole different level of self-care for myself. I'm not a huge sleeper. I've never been a huge sleeper. I'm a 5, 6 hour girl at best on any given day, unless I'm super sick, right? And I've been sleeping more. Not always fully though, because I've been doing so much healing work. I've been drinking a lot more water too, which, you flush. So I'm not sleeping like a solid 8 hours because I'm getting up every couple hours to use the restroom because I'm flushing everything, but I'm able to go right back to sleep where normally if I get up, I'm up. And so, and, paying more attention about what's going in as far as fueling my body and stuff too. So it's been interesting. And I don't know about anybody else. This would be interesting to know. I've started noticing, and Sara knows because I talked to her about it a couple weeks ago. I've started noticing a lot of changes. The more I've even pushed into my healing even more, I've started noticing I've had to like change deodorants, and I can't wear my favorite perfume anymore or even body spray anymore because I can start to taste it. And so I've had some interesting changes to where I'm so sensitive to a lot of things in a whole different way now. Like I can't eat some of my favorite foods anymore because I can taste the chemicals and stuff in it. Like it doesn't taste the same. So, and I'm sure they've changed some of the stuff, but it's just things are changing. And I think we're changing with it in our own way, so.
Well, and our physiology is going to change when we're
Mhm.
doing this. Is where I think there's been the biggest disservice through the medical. And there's a place for medical, and I totally honor it. And I go to the ER if I'm having chest pain. And so I'm not saying that, but there's been such a separation between mind, body, and spirit. And we're coming back into, and have been for a while. That's not a bash to anybody, but it is in an understanding that there's been a separation, and our body is always a reflection of that emotional spiritual journey, like what we have going on in our mind, the beliefs we have, the emotions we're holding in our body is going to respond to this healing journey we're on. And healing does not always, gosh, it'd be great if it's 10 steps forward and you just keep on going forward, like it's just, but sometimes it feels like you take two forward and you take one back, and it's like this movement. And there is a lot of healing going on now, ever since healing's been going on for a long time in humanity, but COVID did something that shifted people. And it's like there's no, I've noticed this, it's a sense of let's do it now. Let's do it now. If we haven't been doing it before, you might have been, but man, it's in a whole new feel. Like things are, time is escalating. That's part of
Yeah.
it. It feels like what I might have processed in a week before is being processed so fast now. My
Mhm.
body almost doesn't have time,
To
which is
catch
going to
up.
be
Yeah.
the densest form of matter we have. So it's going to reflect those changes the most. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's feeling it, at least until we clear that. Now, it is possible for our bodies to shift into total well being. And so I totally believe that. But in the process, sometimes there is the tiredness, the increased thirst, all the symptoms, the frogginess as I'm releasing the stagnant sadness and grief from my lungs that I've been processing for generations of time, for my family lineage. Like it's time for that to be released, but it doesn't mean it's easy,
Right.
right? Though I do
Right.
believe it can be easy. It's
Right.
just not always. So we have to
Right.
accept that, and there's things we can
Absolutely.
do to support ourselves as we do that.
Right. Well, and I always ask, you know, like most of us do, I'm sure, for everything in our highest and best. And so for me, even with like food and what we're putting on our body because it ultimately gets soaked into our body. Well, if it's full of chemicals, is that really for our highest and best, right? And so becoming sensitive to those things to where you can taste it.
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
is deodorant that has aluminum in it really the best thing to be putting on our body?
right, right. And so I've switched to I'm trying a new different natural
If you guys
deodorant.
have a natural brand, let us know, because I've been searching for a
Well,
while.
right now I'm trying Lumi, and I'm not. I have to admit I'm not super impressed with it because I can taste it still, and I'm like, I know, I
I
know.
wonder what it is. You're gonna have to identify what that
It
is.
has to be the fragrance. That's
Yeah,
all that I can figure out. And so Diana's asking about the acid reflux last 2 weeks eating same stuff. So I wonder if it's the same issue. It could be you're getting really sensitive to it. So yeah, it could
what
be.
I'm getting. Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it could be.
Mhm.
I think sometimes as we're processing, so here's where it can be interesting, where we become more sensitive. That absolutely happens. But you can also, as you heal, become less sensitive. So I don't want to create that for people, because
Right.
you can go through a detox. Sometimes our bodies are saying, like, let's just get really clean. Like, let's not.
Mhm.
And we can become really sensitive to things. But there's also a process where your body becomes, as it shifts, more efficient at clearing the toxins, and so you don't have the same reactions either. I've done that where I couldn't eat gluten before and I can now. It may still not be the best thing, especially if I'm choosing to do non-organic with other things, but
Right.
your body can heal to the point that you can. So it can go in both directions where you can notice differences there. But definitely the sensitivity, when if you're overloaded with emotions, I think you're going to be, or clearing them, you're going to be overloaded with clearing the toxins too. They
Mhm.
sometimes go hand in hand. That's what
Absolutely.
I've noticed anyways.
Absolutely. Trinia, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of good reviews about native. Um, but let me know how that works. If it works good, let me know. And I have not tried the mushroom coffee
I
because I
have.
am not a fungus lover, I have to say.
I
I
like.
don't I do not like mushrooms, but I
Are you talking
heard
about the mud water, like the mud water? Now we're not endorsing any brands on
no,
here.
we're not.
Just put
We're
that
not.
out there.
We're
Um,
not.
are you talking about like the mud water that's everywhere that doesn't even have any coffee in it? Is that what you're
I don't
talking
know.
about?
She says, "Does anyone do the mushroom coffee?" So I don't know. There's several different kinds online, but I've seen where it's supposed to be phenomenal. But I don't like
I use an
mushrooms. So.
organic one, but it also has coffee in it. And I got that. I actually took it on my trip with me because I was cutting down on caffeine, because I am being very sensitive to caffeine. Not that I feel that way, but when I get
Ah,
the biofeedback, it's saying,
your
what
volume
happened?
just went out.
I still have volume. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't. Is it me?
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, it's saying it's on, still registering. Guys, let us know if you can hear
There
me.
you are. Now you're back.
Diana says they can hear me. Okay, that's weird.
Weird. So it must just be me.
So
Weird.
mushrooms are super good for you if you don't have an issues with them. I mean, this is where everything has to have a caveat. There are people who have issues with them, but they are super healthy. I love the coffee I have that has mushrooms in it. It's an organic brand, but it's not like pure mushrooms. It is mixed with coffee. And I've switched actually to a dandelion blend I love. Okay, Monique, you're frozen now.
What? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, there you are.
I'm like,
Okay.
that is so weird. Come on.
So all these things, it really came to us before when we were talking about, like, what are we going to do here? Because it's just we're just talking. What's important, and all the shifts, like what are you guys experiencing, and to talk about that with some tools maybe to help navigate it. Mud water. I don't remember the name of the brand that I use, but it is mixed with coffee. So it's not one of those that's totally getting you off of caffeine, but it is adding a ton of mushrooms in, for the health benefit.
But can you taste the mushrooms? That's my
No,
question.
no. In fact, I made it for my husband, who would know in a minute. Didn't say a thing. He
Because
didn't
I
think it
don't,
was as strong as regular coffee. That was his comment.
because I don't do the fungus. I just
Can't taste it. You'll have to try this brand and see if you like it, because you can't taste that.
cool. You'll have to you'll have to post it in the comments, Sarah, so that we can whoever wants to try it can find it.
I don't know the brand name. It's in the camper, and the camper is at somebody else's property because we're having our we're having our road worked on and we can't, or our driveway, we can't be parked out there. So it's in the, when I find it, if I remember, I will certainly do that. Yeah.
Do.
Now, I also want to put out there when we're talking about these symptoms you can have, to shed a light on it. I don't want you to think you're going to experience that, because not everybody does. Everybody has different systems. Sometimes the biggest thing people experience is they get more thirsty. They yawn more often. I mean, those aren't bad things. That's just your body signaling what you need. Um, yeah, temperature gauge is off. Um, oh, that is big. I had that for a long time, Tracy. She said her
Me
temperature gauge.
too. Me too. I used to have that a lot.
Yep.
A
I don't
lot.
have it as much anymore, but I used to. And when I taught a class, some of my students
What?
saw me, would just see me. So one of the best things for me when I'm working with clients is, um, this was a plus that came from COVID. I got air purifiers for every room, right? And I got these little ones, but they cleared like a big space. And I set it in between. Well, then as stuff was clearing, I would move it closer to me. And so I had this fan right next to me. It was the biggest blessing I've ever had. So now I always have it. And I know when the angels are coming in, and I used to get so hot when the angels come in. That doesn't happen as much anymore. That's one of those changes as we get used to the vibration, but it does still happen. Um, but man, those fans, those are helpful. And that one, it was discreet. Like nobody knew I had a fan like blowing my face, and because it was on the ground, but it was enough for me to be like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, and Tracy, you got really long hair. I mean, you got way longer hair than I do. So that's why typically my hair is always thrown up because I get really hot. My face used to get blood red and I just sweat buckets because the angels are super warm. So yeah, I used to get super toasty. And like Sarah, I just have a fan running, and now, I mean, I still get warm, but you it's not like it used to be because you adjust, you get used to it. um I
Well,
think
yeah, and
we
you can clear
regulate.
the stuff that's creating it too. I mean, if you have tools to know how
Mhm.
to create that, you can meditate on it. You can bring yourself into balance. So there are things you can do with it. For me, I was kind of like my body's shifting. I could have dug on it, but it just wasn't something I just didn't, and I probably should have, but they're
don't
canceled.
don't shit on
Don't
yourself.
should on yourself, right? Yeah, but it's interesting. So here is so in the biofeedback today, I mentioned this. So when you're doing a lot of energy work, or you're even, it's not about energy. So everything is energy. So let's put this into perspective. You've got a journal and you're doing a lot of journaling about processing stuff. You're doing energy work, whether or not you're fully clearing it, you are processing it. So we're all doing energy work all the time. And if you're doing a lot of work internally, and here's what, so if this is what I said today, if I had known when I really started focusing on this, now I feel like I've been healing my whole life, so let me put that there. I mean, I've gone to a lot of counselors, done a lot of things for healing, but if I had known that our body needs to process the everything too, that we are going through a shifting as we detox, I would have started with some tools. I wish I had those tools when I started. Let's just put it that way. Because now my body, because I want everything with peace and ease. And I've been doing a cleanse for 8 months on and off. I mean, parasites, mold, because I had a huge reaction. This is old stuff from 25 years ago when I had lupus and when I had mold toxicity and I had some stuff happen. Well, my body is now released enough belief systems that it's letting it go, but it's not necessarily the easiest. And so with peace and ease, if I had realized, I am going to dig on that part, because the fact that my body is holding everything like this to protect me, there's a way now I can support it to release those toxins. Because what happens is if you're holding toxic emotions, you're also holding toxic things like mold, possibly. You could be holding things like parasites. You can hold heavy metals. You can just be holding that in your cells, just the emotions in your cells, and it's being held in your fat cells. And so the biggest clue I've been hearing for 8 months now, as I was on a journey to release weight, and I kept on hearing, you're not going to release because it's not safe for you to release all those toxins. I'm like, what are you talking about? The emotions? Nope, those are gone. It's all that other stuff. And I was like, Oh, okay. I get it. So it's been a journey of that to understand our body is experiencing it just like if you're releasing emotionally, your body's experiencing it too. So just to know we work in harmony together.
Yeah.
Our liver, our kidneys, our guts, our GI tract, our lungs. I mean, the breath. We release more toxins through our breath than anything else. I mean, it's absolutely amazing to me, this body that we have that's capable of this. So how do we support ourselves? We take deep breaths, we drink more water. I drink dandelion tea. Now I'm not telling anybody else to do that, but that's what something I do. There's different things we can do to really support, bring harmony to help everything to work.
Absolutely.
Really important.
Trinia, she's saying bad hot flashes, but she's not even 40, so she doesn't know what's going on. I feel like that's her spiritual team coming to
Yeah.
match her vibrationally and lift hers up while she's healing.
Okay.
And that's the hot flashes.
Oh yeah, the fatty liver disease. That is something. Oh, I just got chills. That's been coming in to my realm
A
with
lot.
clients a lot. Now, I don't diagnose anybody ever. However, I might hear that you're holding emotion in your liver. It's
Mhm.
not for me we're both medical intuitives. It's not for us to diagnose people because we deal with the energetic component, the emotions or the belief factors anyways, right? But that has been coming up over and over and over again. It's part of this cycle and this clearing. And of course that affects blood sugars and other things, but it can be healed, just so you know.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah, non-alcoholic cirrhosis, beginning cirrhosis, fatty liver. Yeah.
We were talking about this. What was the statistic we found? Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't actually know, but what was the statistic about the amount of people they're saying have that now? It was like super high.
It was super high. They're saying like I
Don't
hold on.
quote us on this. No quotes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't no quotes, but I'm asking Eric to like remind me what that was because I was out. I remember calling Sarah going, "Can you believe what the statistic was?" I want to say it was 60 to 70% of people have non-alcoholic fatty liver, like even beginning stages of fatty liver disease. And a lot of it's the processed foods, um, sugary drinks, sodas, energy drinks, basically all the crap that we put in our bodies because the liver detoxes everything and it's part of the filtration system, if you will. And so that's where all that stuff is stored in our bodies. And then you compound that with all the emotional stuff on top of it. It's kind of a cesspool, really, but it can be reversed and it can be corrected.
Oh yeah, it totally. I'm thinking
Mhm.
cellular regeneration. I think totally regenerates. Once again, don't quote me on this. I've been on vacation, but I want to say 90 days.
She on
So I shouldn't
vacation
even be
brain.
throwing out. I shouldn't even be throwing out numbers right now without looking at it because my brain is like, fast.
Well, don't
It's
quote
pretty
me on
fast,
that
guys.
because it's been like a month or two since we talked about that. So, but
And
yeah,
we're not doctors. But
no.
energetically, the liver holds a lot of old genetic programming, and so it makes sense. That our body is going to experience the clearing that we're doing. So if you clear that stuff from your field, it's going to impact your physical well-being too. Though this is our densest form, so sometimes, though it doesn't have to take a long time, it can be the part that in the time realm matrix takes
Mhm.
longer, but it doesn't have to. It can clear instantly. It
Mhm.
can clear instantly. So if it's not, that's always a question, without judgment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we can have trauma from the womb. Absolutely, that's something that and we can send love and healing to the womb, to our
Mhm.
womb as mothers. You
Yep.
know, if we had babies extremely cold, yes, yep, that's just how your body physically shifts it. um oh, and you're starting to shift for warmer when your angels step in. That's interesting, Diana. Yeah, there's so many different things. I mean, but just the water and the tired and those kind of things, that's That's pretty common if you're processing a lot of things to have those. But really blessing your water, setting intention with what you're drinking vibrationally matters. It does matter how much, I don't want anybody to ever live in fear, but for me, how much caffeine I drink does make a difference in how well I'm processing. Um,
Yeah. I've cut way back, like way back. You'd be so proud of me, Sarah.
what are you at now?
I am down to one soda a day. One at lunchtime. That's it. One.
Good for
And
you.
Memorial weekend, I didn't drink any at all. And on the weekends, I tend to drink a little more coffee, but during the week, I drink like one, maybe 2 cups of coffee. That's it. That's it.
Yep, that's what I'm down to too.
Where I used
Mainly
to
because
drink
I was
coffee
just,
all day long and soda. It was
me
awful.
too. Yeah. Not the soda so much, but I did the coffee all the time. Yeah. And and that's not bad. Coffee's actually not bad for you. That's where I
Right.
don't want to demonize anything. Um,
Right.
but my body was calling for more water. I needed the water. I'm going through a healing process. So, my adrenals, my liver, everything needs more water. It's not abnormally high amounts that are bad for you too, but
Right.
needs me to listen to myself.
Right. Well, and during the work week, like all day at work, I would drink coffee, and then come lunchtime, I'd get a soda. So I'd drink that throughout the afternoon, and then if I was done with it, I'd drink more coffee. And then as soon as I got home, I would switch to water typically. But now, yeah, I just have 1 or 2 cups in the morning, and then that's it.
That's
So
awesome. That's
I know.
exciting. Like that's big. One of the biggest things we can do to help our body clear this stuff is to breathe. And I know that sounds so simple.
That's where we release our fat. Most people don't realize that we actually breathe our fat out.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing. So just taking time to breathe. Just take a few minutes and you can find lots of stuff about different methods of breathing that are known to really help with anxiety and depression. It's been something I've been really working on is the breath. I mean, the breath is the breath of life. You're bringing in spirit when you breathe. You're bringing in cleansing air, oxygen. You're bringing it in and allowing it to move through. And as women, especially, though I know men have done this too, at least I learned to suck my gut in. I learned have good posture, suck it in, don't let it hang out. I remember being a teenager and getting that message, and I don't even remember who it came from. Well, the problem is I developed, not just from that, for other reasons, really shallow breaths.
Mhm.
I mean, when we breathe in, you actually want to expand, like you want to bring it all the way in and let your stomach go out and have no fear or shame. Like let this expand, let your diaphragm go down, let it massage all of your organs, let it do what it's supposed to do. And that's something I've been really working on, and I'm still not an expert at it. I've been doing a lot of clearing on that and a lot of belief work on breath, because your
Mhm.
breath in your lungs is holding grief and um,
Mhm.
am I worthy to bring in the breath of life? And so there's
Right.
lots of belief work that's come through
Mhm.
healing with the breath, but even just practicing the breath and just thinking to yourself, I'm letting the light into the dark. I'm bringing the light into those places. I'm rinsing myself clean.
Mhm.
I'm releasing what no longer serves. I choose love. I choose peace. Ultimately, that's what you're coming to, is peace within the body.
Mhm. Well,
And
and you
I
can
believe
also, yeah, and you can lower your blood pressure too by doing those
yeah,
big deep breaths. I was actually at the doctor, and she's like, okay, we're gonna take your blood pressure, and it's just checkup or whatever. And so I just closed my eyes and I just took deep breaths. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "But you closed your eyes." And I said, "I know." And she goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, but didn't you know that if you like close your eyes and blot out the room or the world, whatever, and you concentrate on your breath and you breathe very deeply and you exhale very deeply, you can actually lower your blood pressure." And this is the nurse. And she goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Let's play with it. I'll show you." And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah. So she took my blood pressure. And then she's like, okay. And it wasn't bad, but she's like, okay. And so then I was like, gave it a few minutes, a minute or whatever. I closed my eyes and I, was breathing very deeply. And she took it and she's like, it went down a few points. And she's like, wow, that really works. And I'm like, yeah, it really does. Because you relax, you totally relax as you're breathing deeply. Everything
Yeah.
relax if you concentrate on your breath.
And there's a lot
Um,
of study going into that. And that's a different type. The type of biofeedback I had, I think is called quantum. Don't quote me on that. It's a different type, but they're doing studies on all of that. What happens when you breathe deep, when you do meditation, when you connect to your heart. And they've done so much study now into your blood pressure and the anxiety going
yeah.
down, what happens in your nervous system. And it's a pretty phenomenal thing. So even if all you do is breathe, just breathe. Put your feet on the ground. There's a ton of medical studies coming out now
Oh
about,
yeah.
and this is where it's starting to come together like this. It is. We are coming back into balance, I believe.
Well,
I
now
believe.
they're selling the grounding mats and stuff that you can put on your bed, and that all the information coming out about grounding is amazing.
What it does to you is absolutely on a molecular level is amazing. And just to put out there, I used to be a nurse. I loved being a nurse. It wasn't the right path for me. And I have so much respect for nurses, doctors, psychologists, counselors. So that I just have to put that out there. That's not a diss to anybody who does that. It's just there hasn't always been a balance in between the two
Well, I
components.
think they've been, and like you, I have tons of respect. I have tons of healthcare workers in my family. My sister's a nurse. My mom was in healthcare forever, but um, I think for some of them, they were so narrowly focused on the one thing that they weren't looking at the whole thing. Like you were saying earlier, they weren't looking at the whole scope of solutions. It was just here's a pill for this. Well, I don't want a pill. I want to look at what's going on, like what's causing all the problems. And so, um,
Well, and
but
as a
I
nurse,
think,
I learned about holistic care. But
mhm,
the reality is when you're facing life or death, what do you focus on? So
absolutely. But
yeah.
what I heard today, I actually heard somebody talking today about there are more and more MDs that are actually leaving the standard medical practices to go. They're turning more to the more holistic
And
naturopathic.
functional. Yep.
Big time. A lot of them are turning to functional medicine in droves right now,
Yep.
because they're kind of tired of the pharmaceutical pushbacks too. But they're tired of seeing no results with the way things are going, and they're wanting people to get better versus just pushing pills, that aren't really doing anything other than creating more side effects. So it's really interesting to see the tide turning, to see people going. I kind of see it like going back to our roots, really, of going more natural based in a lot of ways of let's get to the actual root cause of the problem instead of masking it with the next thing and then the next thing of
Right.
okay, so you're having issues with your kidneys. Okay, well, let's find out why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
And
deal with
maybe
that.
you need medicine in the meantime. Maybe you do
Absolutely.
because sometimes those things are
Absolutely.
keeping us alive. Sometimes, but what is the
Absolutely.
and that's really what we of course that's our passion because that's
Right. Right.
we deal from a different perspective. We're looking at,
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
someone comes in with chest pain though, I've had people messaging me, you need to call your doctor, you need to
Yeah.
go to the ER.
Go to
Don't
the ER.
I will send you blessings and love. And then when you're done, when you get that normal, when you're stable, then come back and we'll deal with the emotional stuff going on that's creating that. But when
Right.
you're in the middle of a heart attack or a stroke or
Yeah.
your arm's cut off,
Yeah. Call
then I will send you
911.
healing. Run to the hospital, like call
Yeah.
911. Yeah. I have utmost respect for that. So yeah, don't.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Trini, absolutely two cups of coffee a day is good. Just the sugar and creamer. I don't do the sugar, but I am a creamer snob. I am. But Sara, you'd be proud of me there too. I've cut out all the frou creamers that I've been doing. I switched to like the natural bliss and I know. Look at me go. Look at me go. I even had on Saturday. I did a fair in Missoula. I just did readings for the day it was interesting, but I did a fair, and I was like, oh, I could really use a cup of coffee because I had had no coffee all day. It was like 10 o'clock. I was like, I could really use a cup of coffee. Well, some people next to me that were from Helen, I heard, and so they had made a run, and so they grabbed me a cup of coffee. She goes, I didn't know what you wanted, sweetie, so it's just black coffee. I drank a whole cup of black coffee.
No way.
Look at me go.
Wow. So have you guys, good for you. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Me, I'm cutting out. I like Splenda, and that is not the best for you, though I bless it. So it is with ease and grace going through me. Um, so that's what I've needed to give up is that. Here's the thing. Do you guys notice you feel different based on what you eat? Like super curious. Um, when I had lupus 25 years ago, I found out fast that what I ate made a huge difference in my health and my well-being. And when you're 20 something year old and you can barely walk and you can't breathe because it's impacting your lungs, you find out real quick this isn't fun. And for me, this is not for everybody, so this isn't a judgment. For me, I found out that when I cut out all the artificial, because I'd been on Weight Watchers, I lost 70 plus pounds. I did all the artificial sweeteners, artificial yogurts, artificial everything. Like my whole life was diet to lose that weight. And then I got all those symptoms and I got super, 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 super sick. You think running 5 miles a day, super healthy, and then boom, it was like I was smacked. And when I shifted, my naturopath had me shift, and she did two things. She made me take out all hydrogenated oils, which is those creamers, which I loved, the sweetened creamers, and all artificial sweeteners. In 1 week, I was walking. And so I found out fast that food can really impact us. I do believe you can dig and heal that so that your body is able to tolerate things differently. But why would you want to? I mean, you do want to heal it, but why do you want to take that in? And
Right.
so I found out, and even now, like if I eat organic wheat, I don't have an issue usually. So for me, what I've isolated from Creator is it's the pesticides, actually. It's less about the gluten, more about the pesticides. But what's really interesting, everything has a vibration. And when I eat that, if I eat something super unhealthy, really like, and it usually will take, like it'll build up. But I noticed even over vacation, I didn't eat great. And I was really emotional. I woke up, I was crying when I woke up, and I was feeling, oh my God, I'm not very good. And I'm not a good person. It hit me. We talked about that's a form of psychic attack. Well, it was an internal based on what I ate. And as soon as I got that cleared out of me, I was good to go. And so it's a reminder that our body sometimes feels the food makes us feel a certain way. I call it our life lesson foods. So it's going to be different for everybody. And what your life lesson is different. Somebody might be shame, so it might actually turn on addiction behaviors. For some people, it might be unworthiness. Hello, that's me.
Mine's
Abandonment
guilt
issues,
because I get
right?
the sweets. I get the sweet Jones. I start
Yeah.
jonesing for sweets. That's my emotional go-to. I start craving sugar.
So and sometimes you don't know it until you take it out. Like I didn't know. Then there was a period of time I got rid of those, and then way after 10 years later, we cut out all grains because I was doing a diabetes cure diet. And I found out after 30 days, I had no anxiety. I didn't know I had anxiety before, but I lived with anxiety, chronic anxiety. Like someone couldn't come to my house without me having to clean top to bottom. I was so terrified of them seeing it dirty, you know. Um, so just curious if you guys have noticed that different foods do different things to you, because when you're doing this processing emotionally, supporting ourselves, yes, we can dig on it, we can clear it, we can make it so we can be in balance, but man, why do I want to eat something that's going to cause me to feel that way? Yeah, interesting. It's just something to take note. And it's not the same for everybody. Like I know somebody, and I'm not saying cut out a whole foods group. It's just sometimes,
Right.
like for me, it's the pesticides. So it's what is it? Now I have a very sensitive. I mean, shoot, I was on prednisone when I was a kid for mosquito bites. So I would say I'm probably on the spectrum, have had to heal a lot more trauma in the body for things like that. That's part of my peace consciousness that I'm in. That's not for everybody, but it's just to put out there. Like, do you notice you're more anxious if you have coffee? Well, then it may be something that you might want to think about, you know. Do you notice you become more emotional if you've had a lot of sugar? Well, it might be something to look at, not to make life hard, but to actually make it easier for ourselves.
Yeah, Dawn makes a really good point because she's out of the country for those that don't know. And I've
Very
heard
different.
and seen this in so many places that a lot of the foods that we have here in the US are actually banned in other countries because of all the crap that we put in it, because it's more like food product versus being actual food. And what I have found interesting in listening to like people from the States that have gone to other countries to vacation, like they're completely gluten intolerant, but then they go to Italy and they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing here because I can't eat anything. And then they go to Italy and they're eating pizza and pasta, and they actually lose 15 pounds in a couple weeks
Yep.
eating everything. And they're like, I ate a whole pizza to myself. And they come back to the States and they never once had any gluten reactions whatsoever in Italy. They come back to the States and within a week they're back to, they've gained the 10 pounds back, they're bloated, they're in agony, they're reacting to everything all over again. And it's our food, if you want to call it that. And so it's quite interesting, but it's really quite sad too. So you know, for me, you know, to me, it just kind of reiterates, you know, going back to basics and like making our own stuff and going back to some of the older ways of just doing things ourselves instead of taking the shortcut of buying it. You know what I mean? And I know that's not always convenient or feasible for everybody, but you know, finding those ways to do things that are healthier for our body so that we can function better. And yeah, Don said, yeah, they are illegal. A
Yeah.
lot of
We,
our stuff is.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, and we saw that. I mean, when we did teachers training, so in Theta Healing, we train for the most part. We can train online now, but never used to. In Big Fork, everybody goes to Big Fork, from all over the world.
Yeah,
Although she also, she also travels. The founder
yeah,
of Theta Healing, the creator of it. Um,
yeah,
but but so you get people from all over the world, and that was something that everybody talked about. And so this isn't coming from, you know, I'm not that I haven't seen it on TikTok and other places, Facebook, whatever,
yeah,
but this is coming from a lot of people having these big discussions about the food. And it's
yeah.
really interesting because I haven't done a ton of travel. So I mean, I've done a lot of travel, not out of state. Right.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah, because when I went to teachers training a couple years ago, I ended up at the table with like a bunch of
yeah,
people. The Brazilians love us. They do. They just
they
love us and
do.
they're adorable. I just love them. We had like 10 Brazilians at our table and they were talking about the food. And then we had a couple people that were from Russia that came and sat with us and they were talking about it too. And it was really interesting how they're just like, your food is garbage. It doesn't even taste good. Like, this is supposed to taste good and it's not, it was not what I thought it was going to be, you know. And then they're like, but this does taste good, but it's definitely not good for you. And we're like, yeah, we know. You know, but it was really fascinating to hear them. And
The
like Don said,
diversity of
even
it.
talking about like the fruits and the vegetables, they're like, wow, just the difference.
You know what, Tracy? That's awesome that you're doing a green smoothie. I think adding stuff you know makes you feel good is great, but still like your chocolate. You know what? Chocolate isn't bad. It's
No,
just
it's
some of the
not.
chocolate that we choose is not the highest. I love, I love homemade. Now I'm using cacao, but I do use stevia to sweeten it. I'm that girl. But I think natural stevia actually
Mhm.
lowers blood sugars, and I think if it's good for you, it's
Yeah.
anyways. I like my natural stevia, so that's mine. I love when I'm craving chocolate, and it has so many good things in it for you. If we're craving chocolate, your body probably needs it hormonally.
And there's good
Really
stuff
good.
in
Yeah.
real chocolate. I can't do Hershey's anymore. I know. I'm gonna get a bunch of boo hisses on that. It smells and tastes moldy to me. This is how sensitive I'm getting. Like it
You're
smells and
going through a
tastes.
massive detox. You're
I
going,
know it smells
yeah.
and tastes moldy to me. I can't do it.
Oh, hi, Shelly. Glad you made it. Um, Everything at the day markets is amazing. Yeah, the fruits and veggies were dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, the dirt's still on them because they just pulled them. Like, man, I can only imagine.
You know what though?
Don,
The
you've
thing
had
about it,
such an experience, though. What an amazing experience.
yeah.
Yeah, Tracy, I agree. It is kind of waxy too. Hershey's chocolate is kind of waxy.
Here's the thing though. I think this whole discussion, this is interesting, and I just got
Mhm.
this. This whole discussion is about empowerment.
It
I mean,
is.
our bodies are shifting in so many different ways all the time. If you're going on this journey, if you're living this physical life, you're in it.
Yes.
You're doing it, right? And sometimes we suppress the symptoms with what we eat because they're just too much. And sometimes there's things we can do, but this is all about empowering ourselves in becoming high functioning, joyful human beings who can be at peace in our physical body, living because we're not meant to. I know I get on a soapbox with this, but as we are healing, we're not going out there, we're coming in here. Like, we're meant to live it in this physical body while we're here. This is where we're at. We're meant to bring it. And I do not believe, and everything divine says to me, that we're meant to be in emotional pain and trauma, and we have those experiences, but I know we don't have to stay there. And if we can be empowered to support ourselves as we do that, that is like huge for me. So that
Yeah.
we can because I've been in pain. I've had physical pain, emotional pain. Emotional's the worst. Like,
Oh, absolutely. You
absolutely.
can't
I'll
escape it.
Yeah,
Physical
there's nowhere
heals,
to go.
emotionals with you forever.
And I couldn't figure out, when I was in so much physical pain, whether or not my depression and anxiety was caused from the pain, or whether my depression and anxiety caused the pain. Like, I couldn't figure that out. I remember saying that. So empowerment is incredibly important, but there are things that we can do for ourselves. And sometimes it's a search. Sometimes it is. Can't tell you how many times I've gone in this and done this, and okay, that doesn't work, and you got to give it some time. When we're talking about the plant realm, things don't always work immediately. Like, you
Right?
don't know if it's going to work, you don't know. So sometimes it's a matter of, and having support. If you're thinking about doing a detox, go to a naturopath, have support, because there are herbals and supplements that can support you while you do that. When
Yeah.
absolutely. High
And
fiber diet, whether you're taking something like apple pectin or high fiber diet, eating a high fiber is going to help you process the emotions. When you're doing emotional work, you eating that is going to help you take it, cleanse it out of you. And so those kind of things can really support you in the process and make it a lot easier for you.
I highly suggest get a detox cleanse buddy. Like Sarah and I have been doing this together. Like, okay, we're gonna start this, because you need that emotional support of somebody that's gonna be there with you when you go through, somebody that you can lean on to help you as well,
You
and
have
be
to
like,
have
okay, well this is not working for me. Okay, well then let's shift to something else. You know what I mean? Like, and you do have to give it time, because there's stuff that we've tried. I'm like, okay, it's been 30 days. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it 30 days. Yeah, I don't feel like it's really working. So I need to try something else because it's not working for me. And that's okay because everybody's different, but you do need to give it time. And it is really important in all of this, especially with this conversation. I'm super grateful that we're having this conversation as well, because part of that empowerment piece is listening to our bodies and clearly hearing what it's telling us. Like,
not being scared of
something is
what it's telling
not
you.
in balance. This is something we need to work on. Something is not right. And like, I know I'm detoxing, and that's why everything tastes chemically and waxy and funky. And so, okay, what do I need to clear? What am I working on? What am I releasing? And so I've been doing a lot of big digs. I've been doing a lot of healing, which is and lots and lots and lots of water to help flush it through.
And lemon water can be really helpful too if you like
And
lemon
I
water.
have been,
Yeah.
I didn't cut one, but I have been doing a lot of flushing too. So, and trying to stay hydrated. So I do at least one, if not two glasses of water with just a little pinch of Himalayan salt in it to hydrate and stuff. So, but that's part of it, is just really listening and being in tune with our body when it's telling us that something's not right, or when you're super craving something, because there's something in that your body is needing. So honoring that and listening to that and doing what is it's called to do. Trinia, am I doing it right though, or on the right track? I keep getting told I'm not healing, though I felt I have made major shifts. Well, honey, if you know that you've made major shifts, you're doing stuff right.
Here's the deal. This is
There is
actually,
no right or wrong.
here's one of my big, and one of the trainings I did, it really highlighted it for me. I have a pet peeve with even saying that there's something in us that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, ooh, we're not
Ooh,
broken.
we're not broken. Now, there are times in our life we feel broken, and I will not negate that. I
No.
will not negate that. There are times in our life we feel like we are, and I pray that people don't experience this, but I know there are times when you feel like you're just picking up the pieces. I
Yeah.
know it. Here's the deal though, and this teacher said this to me, and it shifted everything in me. And he said, if we come from the premise that there's something that needs to be fixed, that we're broken, or that we need to be healed, then we're always going to be doing so. But if we come from the premise and the understanding that we're already whole, that we are divine spiritual beings that are whole and complete and loved and worthy and all that we are, and we come from that premise, then we know we have healing to do, to reawaken, reimagine, realize who we are. But we're already it. So it's not some unattainable goal. So are you doing it? Heck yes, you are. Heck yes, you are.
Absolutely.
As healers, though, man, I'm like feeling this right now. It's coming through. I don't know who this is who's coming through right now. But as healers, and I know you're a healer, but I know as spiritual beings, even just throw that out. Sometimes there's an awful lot of layers that we are peeling through. And I do believe let's go as deep as we can to peel as much as we can so that we don't have to be doing all the little layers all the time. Like let's just get to it. But
Yeah.
but we are multidimensional. And if we just look at our genetic lineage, we are holding a lot of information in our cells and our DNA. Our DNA is the storage of it. Our DNA holds our belief systems. Our DNA is holding it. And we change our DNA when we change all of that and our DNA, and we will be a reflection of that. So, are you doing it right? Yes, you are.
Yes,
Is there
ma'am.
more to do? Yes, but you're whole and you're complete. You're actually healed. You're
Mm-hmm.
already healed. It's just this manifestation hasn't caught up to it yet. Like there's this disorganized energy. That's how I see it, in between our wholeness and what we are right now. And we're meant to find that space in the light that resides and release all of the false of who we're not so that we can be who we really are.
But the fact, Trinia, that you're striving and you're reaching to obtain that means that you will meet up to that, and it will match up and it will align. And you're doing it, Pumpkin. You're already on the way. You're doing it.
And there's moments you felt that when you're in love with somebody else or yourself, when you're feeling that feeling, when you're feeling joy, when you're feeling a moment of peace, when you're taking a deep breath, when you're just taking a deep breath, smelling a flower, you have reached that point. You have connected to that point. It's
Yep.
actually not something way far off. I think our mind is what tangles it up so much. Our mind that gets us into such separation. And so hold on to those moments, where that is real. Like that is real. That's
I
all I'm
think
saying.
sometimes in our mind we're like, okay, well, if I'm healed, then it's gonna look
Oh,
this way,
honey,
or it
darling.
should look this way, or it has to look this way. And I think we need to let go of that. A, don't should on yourself, and B, release those expectations of what you assume it to look like, and just know that it's going to be beautiful, and it just is. So, you know, expect that you are healed, know that you are healed, and then release what that should look like.
I mean, we can have a lot of trauma in our lives. We can have a lot of, and you know, when you're 0 to 7, you are like just soaking in all these belief systems and just taking all of these experiences. And so we can't judge our healing experience based on anybody else.
Mm-mm.
We can't.
Yeah. And there's no comparison. Everybody's different. It's going to look different for everybody. It's like comparing my gifts to Sarah's gifts. Although ours are very similar and we have a lot of the same modalities that we do, they're still going to be different because we're different people. And so you can't compare that. And healing is the same thing. You can't compare your journey to somebody else because you're different. You're unique and beautiful and valued and wanted and treasured, just like somebody else is, but uniquely you because you're you. So you
Yeah,
can't compare that, love. You're doing it. Just hold
that's
on
right.
to that.
Goodbye, Darla. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just clearing all the stuff in the false, and it's hard to see us sometimes, when we're in it, it's hard to see. And or it can be clear, cancel, delete.
Yeah.
Ask
Well,
for
it
a
is
clarity.
challenging. It can be challenging though, because sometimes you can't see past what you're dealing with, honestly. And it feels like there's no end to it, although we know that there
And
is.
we're all born, here's the thing, we're all born with a roadmap of belief systems and life lessons, and we all have our own individual challenges. So it's going to be different for everybody, but my area that is difficult for me to see through is worthiness, or has been. It's actually much clearer now. Like I can see when I'm in it. I can see it very clearly. And, because I've really practiced this, and it's about knowing I am worthy and then taking all action from worthiness. And that's not a false place of, I am just so awesome. Humility with the worthiness is important, but I'm just saying, knowing that's there. It doesn't mean that I won't learn something new or gain more perspective. That's also knowing my worthiness, right? So knowing where our blind spots are is important. Like, what is our default that gets us tangled up in our wounds? What is that?
Right.
I know worthiness and abandonment, those are the two biggies, like for me with my whole soul map. Those are big ones. Not that there aren't other things there, but those are big ones. And so knowing that, I think the more information too, understanding you have about who you really are at a soul level, because here's the thing, you're not unworthy, you are worthy. So bringing everything from that perspective, you're not unimportant. You are so important and you have such a divine path. But your divine path doesn't look like anyone else's. And
Right.
how is it less important if your divine path is to take care of your children in the yard, or to meet and greet people at the grocery store and give them a smile? How is that less than somebody doing something different, just because our society puts different values? So those values aren't the real values. The real value is what sits in your heart and what so you're here, you are important. And clearing the stuff, the programming, the emotional trauma in the way of seeing that, who we really are. And I'm not perfect. Like, I have my moments, you know, we know it. And I readily share it. I share it because I want you guys to know it. I've done a lot of healing work and I don't get triggered as nearly as often. I used to be a hot mess, but um,
There
yeah,
were moments. There were moments of, ooh, love. Okay, breathe. But I've been there too. Mine's trust, rejection. I mean, and I have some worthiness stuff there too. So, Diana, I think you're perfect, brown noser. Just kidding.
I think you're perfect. I think everybody's perfect. I think we're all whole, complete, and amazing. we're all perfectly imperfect though in our humanity, right?
Absolutely. And it's beautiful and it's authentic
Yeah.
and it's part of who we are and it's part of our journey and it's part of our experience. And so I think part of it is coming into that awareness, like you were talking about, and when we're aware of those areas where we tend to get triggered and or stumble or get caught up on, because we don't know what we're not aware of. So by having that awareness on even the most basic of level, then we can kind of navigate the pitfalls a little bit better and know that, okay, well, okay, why am I so upset? That didn't seem to be such a big deal, but I'm really bothered by that. Oh, this goes back to my trust issues, or this goes back to my worthiness issue. Okay, so this truly is a me problem. I'm triggered. I know it's a me problem, but now I know how it's a me problem. Like I know how it applies to me and I know where I need to work. And so I think just coming into that simple awareness can help navigate those things. And again, that's also listening to our body too on a whole nother level, because
Yes.
we feel it physically and it registers. It's not just a mental game at that point. We feel that physically in our body, whether you feel like you got a knot, a lump in your throat and you can't speak your truth, or you feel like the sinking feeling in your heart space, or you feel like you just got punched in the gut, or you have your guts twisting. You feel it. It's a physical representation of what that emotion is. And so that's how you're getting triggered, but your body's responding to go, hey, something's not right. And so it's just another step of awareness of going, wow, that okay, I've still got some work to do on that issue, because that although that didn't affect me the way that it probably would have a year ago, there's still something there that still bothers me with that. That rubbed me a little wrong. So I obviously I have a
And
little
that's
more work
not
to
right. And
do.
that's not discounting the experience either. You need to
No,
be able to,
absolutely not.
and it's not saying that maybe that person is untrustworthy. I mean, so it is very
Absolutely.
convoluted, but it's
Yeah.
listening into your body to know what it's telling
Yeah.
you and understanding your body is reacting to what is happening
Right.
emotionally and spiritually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't excuse them being a jerk by any means, but I and when I've come into those things, I'm like, wow, okay, that was rude, but looking at my own self, I'm like, okay, I try to take it away as a positive as much, even when I'm triggered, believe it or not, because I'll look at that and go, okay, that rubbed me a little wrong. That still rubbed up against me, not in a great way. However, I'm not responding to it like I would have even 6 months or a year ago. Look at me go, look at me grow. Look how far I've come in the healing process. That's a positive. Look how far I've come to where that didn't like make me completely fall apart. Yay, winning at life. There's still some work I need to do on that, and I'll do that. But look how far I've come. Good job. And it's okay to give yourself a high five, pat on the back, because we take those nuggets where we get
Yeah.
them.
And there's nothing wrong with when you, so I think it is important to identify what your triggers are. I think that's important. I think looking at that, and then if you need help to, like, if your trigger is you have a really tough time setting boundaries, that's a skill. That's a skill that needs to be learned, right? Like where it actually isn't loving and kind to allow people to hurt us with boundaries that aren't, or I had somebody say standards. They said standards instead of boundaries, and I loved that. It's like,
Yeah.
huh, interesting. So it doesn't mean knowing we're all divine beings that that things just go into the toilet. It actually means we move into more kindness and love. But boundaries, healthy boundaries, are important. If you know that you're holding a ton of resentment in your body, you know it, you feel it. That's something to look at because your body's reflecting that and holding that. But in this journey, as we're doing all this healing work and as we're going through this, supporting ourselves in the ways we can, and I think awareness is key. It truly is. Awareness is empowerment.
Mhm.
Looking at, like, do I feel better if I eat this or I eat this? Do I that's about claiming empowerment. Is it if I drink enough water, am I feeling better? Just different things that we can do. Researching. We're having issues with processing some pretty heavy emotions, can we learn a way to release those emotions? I love to dance. That can really help. Eating high fiber food can really help. Seeing a counselor can sometimes really help. Coming to somebody like us or somebody else who does emotional work can really help. So there's lots of things you can do, and you can buy books, book after book after book, you know.
Music, listening to music can help release as well. You'll find that sometimes there's certain music you can't listen to anymore. I have found that myself. So, but again, listen to your body. It'll tell you.
Well, and somebody else put out here a really good idea, is salt Himalayan lamps. Yes. So all those things can help set up your environment to be more at peace. Himalayan salt lamps, essential oils if you like them. I use those constantly. I'm always using oils.
I
I
have
love
salt
the
lamps all over
vibration
my
of
house.
sound, singing bowls, listening, paying attention to what you're listening to. And is it a frequency or a vibration that's causing disharmony in your body or harmony? Like, what is it? What's happening for you? Is it actually feeding the chaos, or is it helping clear the chaos? That's another way to look at it.
Yep.
You know, there's so many different tools, but and breath. I mean, there's so many books out there. Healing yourself with breath, light, sound, and water. You know, and it talks about getting in the water. How many times do I say I get in the hot tub every single day? There's a reason for it.
Right.
Yeah. So as we're going through all of this and all of these different things, listening to your body is important. I used to, like, when I would get this, well, this is different because this is a clearing. But before, if I was getting sick, I used to try to just work my way through it. Now I'm not getting sick, clear, cancel, delete, but I'm just saying when I used to, and I didn't listen to myself. And that was pre before I had an autoimmune, right? And then I made myself super sick because I didn't listen. So listening now, it's like, okay, what's going on? I feel in. Is this viral? No. What is going? I've had no other symptoms. It's literally, and it came on immediately after I did that and spoke up for myself. So what is it saying to you? How do you support yourself? What essential oils, if you're into those and you know how to use them? So just listening to your body, like Monique was saying. Yep, there's tons of healings and meditations that can help you. Bringing love and light into your body and not judging it. You know what? Sometimes you get a cold. It happens. It doesn't make you less vibrationally beautiful.
Nope.
It happens.
And
Nothing to feel shame
sometimes we
about.
have allergies. It just is.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes the seasons change and we get a little snuffly. It happens.
That's right. And I do think this is part of this too. I mean, the cottonwoods down there were this thick.
Yeah,
This
cottonwood
thick on the
hit me
ground.
every time.
And it was literally like that. I mean, it hit. It was so funny how it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, and they always like kind of stove me up right here a little bit, and I usually get a little.
But even that is why. Why does cottonwood cause allergies for me? And that's an interesting question. It's one I should probably dig on. It's such an extreme reaction.
Right, because I wear cotton clothing, it doesn't seem to bother me.
Well, but does it? Like, really, we have to think about that. Like, I don't know, right? Something to look at. But
and I'm like,
anyways,
wait a minute, how much of my clothing is cotton now that I think about it? Probably not as much as it used to be.
Now they do say the vibration of your clothing does matter, but
yeah.
Yeah, this round of pollen. But down when I was in Utah, I've never seen pollen like that, guys. And it's desert, but I mean, it was this thick on the ground. I've never seen that. Anyways, so there are things you can do to support yourself as you're processing through these emotions. It was an aha moment for me when we found out how much of a difference it made to have enough fiber in your diet when you're detoxing emotions. And we found out instantly that it made a huge difference in the processing. So there's lots of ways to get fiber. I'm not going to tell you supplements to take, but it's huge when you're there's a reason why they when they say everywhere they say when you're doing a cleanse to take a binder, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Right. And I know you do apple pectin. I tend to do activated charcoal. So, and there's others too, but those are the two most
But even
common.
just increasing fiber in your diet will do the same thing. Apple
Yeah.
pectin comes from apples. Hello.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
just the fiber. Pectin isn't fiber, but I'm just
Mm,
saying there are different things that bind to different things. So,
yeah.
but psyllium husk, it will bind too. I mean, there's lots of things. We're not telling you to take anything, guys. Do your research. I don't like activated charcoal at all unless you've got a food poisoning issue
Really.
at all. I don't like that one. But I know people who love it. So my system says no.
It's the only thing I've ever taken and I don't have any problems with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody has their own. I know somebody else who uses, but truly just the diet part will help. Anyways,
but I
so that
have
was kind of
psyllium
fun.
husk too. So
Yeah. So
it's
that's just
what
all ideas to help you, things you can do. Take care of yourself, love yourself, be gentle with yourself, have patience with yourself.
grace.
If
Have lots of grace.
reach out to people who
Yeah.
you know are supporting you and loving you.
It's really important. You're part of a community.
Yes.
And this group is part of your community. So this is part of your vibe tribe, if you will. And when you're feeling low or you're feeling, if you're really struggling, I encourage all of you to reach out. Even if it's in the group, reach out in the group and be like, hey, can somebody send a healing? It takes 2 seconds for one of us or all of us
If
to
we knew
send
that you
healing.
guys were experiencing something, um, we could get on there for a quick 10-minute healing.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we can't help if we don't know. So, I mean, I'm psychic, but I'm not in everybody's space. So, just reach out. That's what this group is about. It's about all of you guys. It's a safe space. It's an absolute safe space for you guys to get the help and or guidance that you're looking for and that you need. So if you're really struggling, please reach out. Reach out. You can reach out to either one of us privately, or if you want to put a thing on the group saying, hey, I need a healing. Like I'm really struggling today. But please do
Or
that.
what's going on with the energy today? It feels a
Yeah.
lot intense. Or
Whatever
have any of
you
you noticed
do,
it?
whatever you do, please don't stay silent. There's no reason for that. We're here to help you in any way that we can. So please reach out. I encourage all of you.
And yeah, and I know that that actually goes against a lot of programming that healers and light workers have,
We are
because
not the norm.
a lot of healers and light workers have a program that says I have to be alone. It's a very old genetic program, and we want to bust through that because it's not true. I know personally, and let us know if there was ever any bullying that comes up at the group. Let us know because that's absolutely not allowed. Um, there is a place it can be vulnerable to put that out there, like wow, the energies, and you don't have to ask for help. You can just say the energy feels really intense, what's going on, just to connect with other people. And that can feel vulnerable, but how many other people are feeling the same way? And
Right.
without that, so it's actually a blessing for everyone to be able to do that.
Well, and sometimes all it takes is that spark for the whole conversation to start. Maybe somebody else is like, I don't know if I should even put that on there. Um, and somebody else does. Be bold. Be bold enough, and somebody else will do it as well. So and like Sara said, it is an old paradigm way of thinking. A lot of healers have lone wolfed it for a long time. The other part of it is sacrificing yourself for others, and that's no longer necessary either. So
Yeah.
that's an old way, old belief, old way of thinking as well. Um,
And as it changes, sometimes there can be growing pains. Like sometimes as that
Absolutely.
changes, sometimes as you step in, it doesn't feel safe. And sometimes not everybody's ready to shift. And there can be
Mhm.
judgment and things, but that's what we're clearing through
Mhm.
braving the wilderness of it, through stepping in
Absolutely.
with that truth and
Absolutely.
authenticity. So yes, we're here for you. Well said, Monique. Like, I'm glad you said that. We are
Yeah,
here for you. So know
just
that you can use the group for that. Please do, in fact. Please
yeah.
do.
I just really uh, don't want anybody to not speak up if there's something that can be done to help, because that is not a comfortable place or space to be in, to feel completely alone when you're within a group of people that can help but you're afraid to speak up. Please speak up, please reach out, even if it's privately to me and or Sarah. Please reach out, and just don't stay silent, because that's not safe, it's not healthy. um because we do care about you guys. Even for the ones that I haven't met in person, I still care about each and every one of you, and I know that Sarah does too. um you know just please just reach out. That's all that I can say. It's important. Each and every one of you are important.
Everyone. And we don't want any of you to feel as though you don't want to be here.
Mm,
That I've been there. I
me
get it.
too. Me
I
too.
get it. I get it. It
Me
doesn't
too.
have to stay that way. There is a
No.
light that comes into all the dark. There
Mm,
is. Um, hmm. You're hearing hold courage in your heart, hope for the future, and the belief that it's interesting. I'm hearing all is well. That's a
yeah.
hard one when you're in it, but all is well.
Mm,
Um, we all need a tribe. Thank you,
yeah.
Diana. We all need a tribe, and we're reconnecting into tribe and learning how to be a tribe. So,
Mm,
you know, it's not a place for bullying. It's not a place for attacking people. It's a place for supporting each other.
mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Knowing that you have other people that you can lean on, that maybe have gone through similar circumstances, or understand, like Sarah said too. We've both been there. I remember being little, even going crying, saying I want to go home. I didn't want to be here. And I've felt that at different points in my life, even in adulthood. And so it's not an awesome place to be. So
Clear,
you
cancel, delete. It is an
click
awesome
cancel
place to
delete,
be.
right? But you know what I'm saying? It's
In
like,
those moments, it doesn't
in
feel
those
like it.
moments, it's challenging, and just know that there are other people that can relate, but they're here to help. And so, um, bye, Michelle. um, so please, don't feel like you have to do this alone, because you don't.
Well said. Yes. None of us are alone.
Excuse me.
Okay. So I feel like just doing a collective healing for everyone. I'm
That,
hearing
that's what I was. Yep.
just a collective healing as you
Yeah.
guys choose to accept and receive, and to send out unconditional love for the collective and for anybody who needs it. Um, mm, Dawn, I'm really feeling you with your family and prayers. So I'm hearing just to send unconditional love and their angels, their guides to be with them. And then they can choose what they choose to receive. Are you getting anything else for that, Monique?
Hmm. Mhm. I actually see Dawn standing in the gap and holding space.
Yes.
But in doing so, love, it's just a beautiful, loving reminder to not sacrifice yourself in the process.
Yeah. And that can be
Um,
hard when it's our family and we love them.
it can be, but if you sacrifice yourself energetically, you're no good to anybody.
That's right.
That's the reminder.
But we can always send angels. We can
Yes.
always send love. We don't get to heal other people. If sometimes people are having their experience for a reason, and sometimes it's beyond us what that is. Like no experience is wrong, though I don't know that it's always the highest and best. Right?
We always learn something.
Right. And while I am always wanting to let people know there is another option if we're choosing the hard way or the most difficult way or the most painful way, um, it
Sometimes
would
that's
be
the only way we learn, though, because we're stubborn.
right. And so we can always send unconditional love for the people to
Yeah.
take whatever they want to take, and their angels know will bring that love in and will help guide in a different way. And I really truly believe that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hearing to do for that. And also for you, a healing for you, Dawn, if you're open to it.
Mhm.
Okay. You want to set a quick sacred space?
Yeah. We're just going to ask man request, creator of all that is, a sacred space be set wherever everyone is, releasing any and all negative emotions, feelings, energies, sending all of that to creator's light to be healed with love and light, and filling everyone's space and everyone, physical body, energy body, auric field, with love, light, healing energy, and unconditional love. Say yes to receive. Create it now. Calling in everyone's angels, ancestors, guides for wisdom. Create it now.
Wow. Connecting you all into the oneness that exists in your soul in all points of origin. Connecting you into your heart, breathing deeply, sinking into your heart, taking that breath. Oh, and allowing you to move into peace in this now moment with your breath. Allowing yourself to see a cord of energy go straight down into the center of the earth, plugging into the oneness that exists there, to the light, to the love, to the support, for the ability of the grounding that can come from Mother Earth Gaia to flow into your body, to support you and nurture you and balance you. And if you'd like to receive that, say yes. Oh, and then seeing a cord of light go straight up above you out into the universe, higher and higher, plugging into a beautiful white light space, and then going deeper, knowing you're going to the deepest, the highest vibration available, pure unconditional love, pure source, that which sits at the center of every cell of your body and that you are a part of, never separate from. Plugging into that beautiful light and seeing it all around you, seeing this circle of light form above and below, filling your whole auric field with love and light. Ooh, and coming back into heart space, filling with that white light, pushing it out into your field. Knowing that you are connected to oneness, that you are whole and that you are complete. Ooh. And from this space, asking Creator, Source, Universe, God, if you have a word that you use for that, name it now and call it in now. Creator of all that is, by all names, please bring in a healing of pure unconditional love for every person here and in the future, through all time, space, and dimension, to release them from the chains they choose to release, from the sadness, from the pain, from any hopelessness. Just bring in an unconditional love healing to release them from the negative energies that they're wanting to release now. Thank you. In the highest and best way, with peace and ease in all facets of existence. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Show us. Sending in the angels and the guides for Dawn's family. Sending unconditional love, wrapping the whole family system in unconditional love to bring support and love. And bringing a healing to you, Dawn, in the highest and best way. For whatever you need, as you choose. Say yes to receive. And for anyone else who would like their angels, just say yes. Open the door. And if not, don't. Calling the angels to be with those that need support now. To bring glory and peace and love and light to all of you. Thank you. Are you feeling anything, Monique?
Just asking, commanding, and requesting that that Heidi, that Heidi feel what it looks like, means, and feels like from Creator's perspective, and that hers is the same, of what it means to be safe and protected, and to know that you're valued, loved, wanted, and treasured and cherished beyond measure.
And if anybody else wants to receive it, you can say yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Trinia said her family as well. Of course, I feel as though the one for Dawn covered that as well.
Yes.
So if anybody else would like that as well as Heidi, just say yes to receive and create that now. I keep hearing that everyone should know that you are more than enough, that you are worthy to have, to hold, to give, and to receive unconditional love, that you are worthy and deserving of that. And it is your divine birthright to have unconditional love.
Yes.
Along with the peace that surpasses all understanding, that you can have peace and love at the same time. Say yes to receive, that you know what that looks like, means, and feels like, and it's possible to have that. Create it now.
That you know what it means and feels like, how to be, that it's possible to be whole and complete. To know that you are divinely loved. That you know how to live this life with joy and with peace in all aspects, including the physical body. You know how to do that with peace and ease. You know that you're worthy of that through all space, time, dimension, and reality. And say yes to receive.
That you know how to be in balance, what it looks like, means, and feels like to be in balance in your body, in your mind, in your heart,
Beautiful.
and in your soul. You know what that looks like. You know how to listen and feel with clarity and discernment to your body. Free from judgment, free from guilt, blame, shame, but with love and grace and compassion for yourself. That you can easily and effortlessly, with ease and grace, shift and make whatever adjustments are necessary to bring your body back into balance for its highest and best good.
Yes.
Create that now.
Oof.
Mm.
Wow. Feels very settled. Mm. I'm also hearing that you know what it means and feels like. You have creator's definition and perception of the beauty that exists within your soul,
Mm.
of who you really are, of the joy that you bring and the harmony and how valuable and worthy you are.
Yes.
And you know, oh, the light that shines from the inside out, and that it's safe to feel and connect to that light and allow it to shine. That you know how to be safe, that it's possible to be, and that you are. That you know what it means to be infinitely protected and loved within this. That you are beautifully and you are wonderfully made. And you have that in every cell of your body, through all space, time, dimension, and reality, and the highest and best. And that it's possible. Say yes to receive.
Mm. That you know what it looks like, means, and feels like, and it's possible for you to be empowered, to be courageous and brave and strong,
Mm-hmm.
and that you can have those things and be those things, and you are those things with grace and humility and compassion and kindness and caring, and that you know how to win to, and that you can be, and you know who to be with vulnerable. You know how to be vulnerable with. And that you have the discernment to know who to be vulnerable with and who it's safe to be vulnerable with. And you can stand in your power and speak your truth with ease and grace and confidence and courage and strength. And you can do this in all areas and aspects of your life with ease and grace and peace and ease, knowing that you're safe and protected in your integrity, speaking wisdom and truth. Say yes to receive. Create that now.
Ooh. And I'm hearing, may you know that the work that you're doing is so valuable.
Mm.
There's not a healing that doesn't happen that isn't felt and rippled through this world. That
Yeah.
every step forward is a step that helps so many. And that you can have joy and peace and love as you move forward on that path.
Yes.
You are so deeply loved by divine. So I don't know if you can feel it or not, but they're raining love over all of you. Absolutely raining love. Some of you need to say yes to receiving it. That you know how to receive it and that you can receive that love, that it's safe. So say yes and receive if you want to. Oh, there you go. Allow it reach all the way to your feet, to every cell of your body. And from this space, take a deep breath. Breathe it in. All the way down into the belly. Let those bellies out and out. And one more time. And then in a shower of beautiful light, all of us rinsing off, seeing white light rinse over your field, separating all connections. So we are inherently cleansed and in our own space, even as we are always connected. But send that white light straight down, all the way down to the center of you, grounding this healing in. Ooh, knowing that you can watch this healing again and again and actually receive more each time if you choose. Ooh, and then bringing that energy back up into your heart, into your mind, to the top of your head. Thank you to all our guides. Thank you to Divine. Thank you for everybody here. Amen and aho.
Amen.
And you can open your eyes whenever you're ready. I cannot tell you how much love just rained down over all of you. And you're welcome, Sheila and Tracy. All right, everyone. I think now is a time to. You are so welcome.
You are welcome, love.
Drink some water. Drink water. Even when we're just having a discussion, and that was a longer one tonight than we usually have, even, we're moving energy.
Big time.
Love you too, guys.
Love you guys.
Love you so much. And I can't, by the way, you might want to ask yourself, someone had a beautiful white wolf come in. I thought that was really interesting as a spirit guide, and it felt angelic. It was not from the ancestor realm, which I thought was really interesting. Oh, absolutely beautiful. So, anyways, just leave that one there. I won't tell you who it is, but love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a good night.